Many of you have heard of Norbert Chapek, and many of you have not. Norbert Chapek was a Slavic Baptist minister. However, the Baptists did not want him because his religious views were becoming more and more liberal. After being tried twice for heresy, Norbert understandably left the ministry. That was when Norbert and his wife Maha discovered Unitarianism, became members of the First Unitarian Church of Essex County in New Jersey. And after World War I, they moved back to their homeland and started the Unitarian Church of Czechoslovakia. The congregation grew to be 3,500 people, of which 300 were children. Now, much like the Unitarian Universalist churches here in the United States, these people had left other belief systems and joined his. Though the congregations no longer wanted to be tied to the creeds and doctrines of their previous beliefs, it became apparent to Reverend Chapek that they did miss the ceremony. This is when Reverend Chapek created the flower ceremony. He asked his parishioners to bring to church on Sunday any flowers from anywhere. I even heard one story that says he went up on the mountainside and collected wildflowers for the service. However they arrived, the flowers were placed in front of the church, and at some point in the service, he asked people to come to the front and take a flower for themselves. Imagine 3,500 flower bouquet. Reginald Satoli wrote, "The significance of the flower communion is that as no two flowers are alike, so no two people are alike, yet each has a contribution to make. Together, the different flowers form a beautiful bouquet." Together we, no two people alike, form a beautiful bouquet. When World War II began, Maha Chapek moved back to the United States to raise money to help Norbert and their daughter. They stayed in Czechoslovakia to help the citizens and resist the Gestapo. On March 28, 1941, they were both arrested for listening to foreign broadcasts and high treason against the Protectorate. Even though Norbert Chapek was found innocent, the Gestapo sent him to Dachau concentration camp and was killed by gas around October 12, 1942. His daughter was sent to a labor camp and survived the war. The last time he saw his daughter, he gave her a poem. This is what he wrote. "It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow you evil winds into my body's fire, my soul you'll never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in fight and everything would worthless seem, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcome into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters giving wind to the mind is entering into the golden age of the victorious."
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, who am I? I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Dreams eternal, fears infernal haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts. Take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our art.
Over and over, people have wanted to know or said, I was so lucky to grow up in a commune, to be raised by flower children. This is what I wrote in response to one of those people. Flower power. I am a child of hippies, running naked, communes, ashrams, being accidentally given a hash brownie at the age of 4, offered a joint at the age of 5, 10, 13, started smoking weed on my own from the 7th grade till I was about 16. At the age of 12, I became responsible for the children. I became the one who raised the little ones, oft left alone or told to go stay in the children's area. My woods was the ocean, and I ran wild on the beach and in the water alone or with the other children. Being alone, feeling always alone. Always alone. I went 2 weeks in the 10th grade, not laying eyes on my parents or any other responsible adult. Oh wait, that was me. Never really understanding grammar because we moved from one school before the subject was taught and get registered in a new school after they taught the subject. Being looked at suspiciously because both of my parents worked outside the home. Being told over and over I was going to grow up stunted because I was a vegetarian. I am 5'9". Being told over and over my parents were going to hell and taking me with them because we were not Christians. I was raised with a guru and the philosophies and teachings of Buddhism and Hinduism. Being told I couldn't be raised in both of these beliefs by people who had no knowledge of either one. Wanting so badly to fit in, but just not understanding anything anyone my age was talking about. We never had a TV, a radio, or newspapers. Having no real knowledge of how the Western world approached life. And it can still trip me up to this day, and I am 53. Learning to read at the age of 4. Having been through and explored all the states on the main continent, all the states of Mexico, Rome, Italy, and Guatemala. Being supported and encouraged to follow my dreams. Having any and all of my questions answered no matter the topic. Even if they didn't know the answer, they would say so and help me find the answers. Being taught to be blunt and honest in all things. Hippies. with manners and respect, Southerners. Being shown and taught that being poor, a woman, a freak, did not make me weak. It made me strong. Having my parents stand up for me and protecting me from family members, teachers, and other adults who harassed or mistreated me. Getting to splash in the Devil's Hole and slide down Pedernals Falls, and of course, run wild on the beach. Truly learning that stuff is just stuff, and you don't really need any of it. Learning that you cannot change the world overnight, but to never stop trying. Knowing at the age of 16 that I would never raise my children in a commune ashram setting, that I would be there for them all the time, and there would be rules. But I would show them all the states on the main continent and answer all their questions and defend them from harassing adults and support and encourage all their ideas and dreams, teaching them to never stop trying. And above all, teaching them that being poor, a woman, disabled, weird, different, and unique is what made them powerful and beautiful. So I was raised in a community of flower power. Now understand that my perspective of the times is through the memories of a child and then a teenager, and of course books and documentaries and family stories. And my take on flower power was that to bring peace to the world, one must not meet violence with violence, that everyone is equal, and that people should rule, but not Big Brother, and that they would not wilt until these things were achieved. And in their youth and inexperience, they thought it would happen overnight, or at least just 3 or 4 years. When this did not happen, they became disillusioned and learned that freedom is a major responsibility. And most of the hippies I knew became yuppies. So did flower power fail? Absolutely not. The world did change. Freedoms were gained. Unfortunately, flowers do wilt, and so did the power of the movement. I tell this story because for me, it is a perfect representation of what the Flower Communion stands for, what it is trying to teach. Flower power wanted to bring peace and equality and freedom, and it did. They just forgot that each flower is different, and what is peace and equal and free is different for each and every person. That equal is not same. That freedom is not peaceful, and peace is a responsibility. Our Flower Communion honors all of our differences, reminds us we are a community that is responsible for each other, that when we come together peacefully to work towards the freedom for all, to be treated equally regardless of our differences. As Unitarian Universalists, we will work toward a common ground of understanding, not agreeing, understanding. The Flower Communion happening each year reminds us that the work is never done, that we still have the responsibility to work towards peace, equality, and freedom. I think Reverend Chapik truly believed this, and he worked towards this until the end of his life. He believed that even though the flower does wilt, it rises out of the soil each new year. Which brings me to the other flower power. This fragile, easily destroyed, short-lived thing is one of the most powerful things on this planet. Without it, there would be no seed, no plant, No tree, no bee, no honey, no bear, no fragrance on the wind, no bird, no bat, no you, no me. The flower has the power to say goodbye in the way words cannot. And that is why we put them on graves. It has this power to say hello and we appreciate you more deeply than words. And that is why we give them on holidays and homecomings. And the greatest power a flower has can be found in the humble dandelion. That weed we're always grumbling about being in our yard. There is nothing more powerful than when a child comes running to give you that dandelion that they just picked just for you. I believe it was all these things I have mentioned here today that Reverend Norbert Chapek was wanting us to remember and embrace when he created our flower communion. We're now at that time where we remind people that if you have pledged to our congregation, if you are one of our flowers, to please send in your check this month. If you have not kept up, or you're someone who does it in stages, like me, please remember that you are one of our flowers that makes our congregation so beautiful. If you are a guest, thank you for coming, even though we're not in person and we can't see you, and enjoy what we have to offer. And if you have not answered the stewardship this year, for the coming year where we will be together again, please send that in as well. We need that so we can plan all the things we would like to do in the coming year. Thank you. For our benediction today, I would like to share with you a quote from Sharon L. Alder. It is easier to tell a person what life is not, rather than to tell them what it is. A child understands weeds that grow from the lack of attention in a garden. However, it is hard to explain the wildflowers that one gardener calls weeds and the other considers beautiful ground cover.
You light it all together.
We join hands
in Unitarian Universalist fellowship,
pledging ourselves to an individual religious creed,
which transcends all creeds.
not to think alike, but to journey together.